this man just secretly took a bite of a banana. The next second, his phone immediately notified him that he had broken the law. Right after that, a police drone flew right up to Mark. After confirming his identity, the drone popped out a pair of handcuffs for him to put on. It turns out that in the future, it's illegal for poor people to eat bananas. Mark wanted to argue, saying he hadn't eaten the banana, but the system quickly analyzed his facial expression and determined he was lying. The drone, noticing Mark was still babbling, immediately deployed a stun gun, ready to forcefully arrest him. With no other option, Mark reluctantly put on the handcuffs and followed the drone to the prison. Once in prison, Mark changed into his inmate uniform and followed the system's instructions into his cell. The door slammed shut behind him. A large screen began displaying information about the prison services. Several lawyers' profiles popped up on the screen. Mark picked one with a high rating at random, but hiring a lawyer would cost $10,000, an amount he couldn't afford. So, he chose a free public defender instead. The system predicted that Mark had a 90% chance of being found guilty, with a sentence of 45 to 47 years. Mark tried to plead his case, but the system suggested he should just confess early, as it could reduce his sentence by 5 to 7 years. Mark was on the verge of breaking down. It felt like everything was pushing him toward admitting guilt. The next day, the system introduced a work program in prison where inmates could earn wages. Mark chose to do manual labor. He started learning how to knit sweaters following a guide. Through knitting, Mark eventually managed to save up $5 in his account. He decided to use the money to call his family. The call connected quickly, but before he could get to the point, his mom started chatting nonstop. Seeing his balance dropping, Mark quickly interrupted her, telling her he was in prison and needed help. With only $2 left in his account, he explained he was trapped and needed $10,000 to hire a lawyer. He asked his parents for help, pleading that without it, he'd never get out. Just then, the system cut the call off, and the balance hit zero. Not long after, a drone arrived, reminding him that his court hearing was scheduled. It asked whether Mark would plead guilty, stating that doing so could reduce his sentence by 5 to 7 years. The system asked him to confirm one last time if he was truly guilty. Mark didn't want to plead guilty, but his family's money hadn't arrived yet, and he couldn't afford a better lawyer. Desperate, and with no other options, he finally chose to admit guilt. That day, the system's voice echoed again, saying that Mark was free to leave. Confused, Mark left his cell and collected his things at the door. His phone was filled with unread messages. During his time in prison, he hadn't paid his rent, so his apartment was repossessed. He had also been fired from his job. Just after leaving prison, Mark received a flyer offering job opportunities at a textile factory specifically for people just released